Hello, hello, and welcome to the September Crafting and Christ Kit Club tutorials. We're gonna bust into our lantern project today, and the theme for this month, I have to double check because I'm recording this way ahead of time and already talking holidays and all the things, so I want to make sure I get it. But it's walking in His light. That is going to be the theme for this month. And so I'm going to take everything out of the box here, and then we're going to go through and I'll show you a little bit of what else that you're going to need. So the first thing that we'll go through is the napkins. And I still have to decide which one I'm going to use for the lantern. I think I'm going to use 4. I think I'm going to do 4 sides so I can show you what that's going to look like. So we have 2 of the Ye are the light of the world. That. When I sit in darkness, the Lord shall be a light. So we have that one. We have lift thou up the light of your countenance with a sweet little bird on it. We have the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? So you got 2 of those, and then the hymn for this month is Send the Gospel Light. So I'm definitely going to be using these 2. I think I'm going to do alternating sides. So I'll do 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. But here is the project for this month. So this is a battery operated LED candle. So you are going to need 3 AAA, is it double or triple? Get this right. 3 AAA batteries, they are not included, to do the lamp, to make the lamp light. So you'll need those. But other than that, we have everything we need. Now, there's a couple ways that you can do this project. And so the reason you don't have a large and a small project is because this is the large project and the candle actually itself is the small project. So you could decoupage the candle on the inside. You could also use rub-on transfers, which obviously are not included in this kit, but if you have our rub-on transfers, they would work on the candle as well. I'm going to actually show you how to reverse decoupage the glass. So we're not going to be decoupaging the outside of the glass. We're actually going to be decoupaging the inside of the glass so that the outside just remains glass, and you can clean it and stuff. So that's how we're going to be doing it. The other things that you have, this is your hidden Mickey for the, let me get my runs right, we're doing September, October kit. So this is your hidden Mickey, and so maybe you can guess what it is, what the October kit will be. That one we will transfer to Christmas, so it's going to be a Christmas project. The other things that you have in here is we have our fall ribbon for the bow that we're going to put on top. You have some jute. I'm probably going to add that to the bow too. You've got a sweet little leaf cutout. These are mystery ones, so you might not get this exact leaf, but you'll get one of the leaves. They're all about this size. And then this month we are doing the Chosen sticker. So you'll have that. I have seen these really cute. You can color these with Sharpies or markers. So make it your own. So we have that, and then we also have this beautiful pick from Burton & Burton. This is a 12-inch pick. This is a stunning piece here. And again, these will vary too. So there's different gourds. Some are gourds, some are pumpkins. This one has acorns and berries in it. But this is a really nice pick. This is not a Dollar Tree faux flower. This is super nice, really heavy, nice 12 inches. So we're going to be using that for the top of our decoration. So we'll put that aside. I'm going to put the ribbon aside. I'm going to put it aside over here. So we will use those, but we're going to do the decoupaging first. So I'm going to snip off my tag here. The first thing that you're going to need is a screwdriver if you're going to do the inside like I'm going to do, or if you want to get to the candle. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take the screws out of the 4 corners. You will need to be careful when you do this because this piece right here has like a lip and it's holding the glass in there. So as soon as we start removing this lip, the glass is going to want to go inward, and which is not a big, I'm trying to do this with no glasses, which is not a big deal, but I just don't want it to like go in and break break on you. And then I had already taken this out once, and then when I put it back in, I put the screw in crooked. So I'm hoping I can get the screw out. I didn't really worry about it because I was gonna have to take it back out on this live again, but now I'm realizing that might have been a mistake. No, we're good, it's coming out. All right, so make sure you put your little screws somewhere where you're not gonna lose them. They're not gonna roll off on you, because we will need those again to put them back in the lamp when we're ready to put it back together. So I'm just gonna put mine in my little tray here. I do have an extra tray because I'm gonna dump the Mod Podge in there. Just realizing I forgot to get my water. So I think I have emergency water here I can use. You guys will be watching this later, but I just finished doing the live about an hour and a half ago for the Oh Holy Night card maker kit and transfers. And then I quickly fed my family dinner and then cleaned up, and then I'm back in here again to get this done before I do the live tomorrow, so that when I go live for the unboxing tomorrow, I will have one finished that I can show you. So you can see this piece just pops right out, and then we have our pieces of glass. So we'll want to carefully take those out, and we're going to just put the screwdriver over here because we're going to be working with these pieces of glass. We're going to work with them outside of the lantern. Again, you could just do it on the outside, but even if you just did it on the outside, this is easier. So now you can see we just have our lantern, like no glass. So we'll put this aside as well. And from here, you can start to see which designs are going to fit. So you could just do one if you just wanted to do like just the front of the lantern. Kind of what I'm thinking is doing opposite sides. So I'm going to have this design on the front and the back, and then I need to figure out what I want on the other ones. This one's kind of a little wide, and I don't even think this one would fit. If we do it that way, it will. If we do it this way, we're gonna, here, let me make sure I've got it where you can see it. We're gonna cut off the light. We're gonna cut off some of the words. But if we do it this way, it will work. So I might do those two because I really like this first. And then I'm trying to hide that. I might keep that one. And then the other one is this one. So it will fit, but keep in mind when we put it back in the lantern, you're gonna lose about 1/4 of an inch on each side. So it would probably cut off a little bit of the D and a little bit of the O. So keep in mind if you use that one, it might be a little tight. But I'm gonna go with these two. So I've got my 2 in darkness, or the light of my salvation, and the 2 when I sit in darkness ones. So those are the 2 I'm gonna be using. So I will need all 4 napkins because we're gonna do all 4 sides. Okay, so reverse decoupage is the exact same as regular decoupage, except we are going to be putting the Mod Podge on the front and then sticking it, we'll put it on the glass, and then we'll stick the napkin face down rather than the other way. So let's go ahead and do the first one. Since this is glass, I am just gonna wipe the side real quick that I'm using. I just wanna make sure that there's no fingerprints or anything trapped underneath there, because that would, that's gonna show up on our design. The other thing that I'm gonna do is I am gonna use my Cricut press to get this as flat as possible. So I have it's like my Cricut iron I'm gonna be using, so I'm gonna turn that on. And then after we get a couple of these done, I'm gonna plug in my glue gun because as usual, it was done. So I got it on the charger down there, so we'll do that. But we can start with these. So we'll just get started. I've got my Mod Podge, hot glue gun, heat press, got my mini bow dabra. When we get to the bow, I'll be using that. I might grab some extra jute. I'll just see what it looks like. Get my Mod Podge has a little clog in it. So I'm just gonna put just a chunk down there because I think it's gonna take, we gotta do 4 window panes. And I'm gonna grab my paintbrushes and my bucket here. Apologies again that I didn't have this ready. Got my emergency water here, using the last of it. It's a good thing that's up there in case I forget my water. All right. Okay, size of brush. No, I'm pretty sure we can just use this bigger one here. All right, so we're just gonna, well, actually I'm gonna cut this. So I don't want my Mod Podge drying while I'm cutting this. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it now. So I'm basically just cutting off the parts of the design that I'm gonna need, which is just the front. The other thing that you're gonna need with the heat press is we're gonna need some parchment paper. And I actually just grabbed these at the Dollar Tree because I thought, how perfect, we'll just have these little sheets ready in here. And we can keep reusing this, but it was just already cut sheets. So I was like, yes, please. I always forget we need that protection when we're using the iron. That is my reminder to take my medicine, which I took before I jumped on here. I think I mentioned, if you saw the live, I just had a bunch of work done on a tooth, and I'm on antibiotics and stuff, so I had to make sure to take that. Okay, so this is going to be so pretty once we get it on here. I can already tell. Okay, so with the surface saver, what I'm going to do is I'm making sure this is lined up square with this section down here. We got to remember to do it backwards, but I'm actually going to line up. I'm going to line up the bottom of the napkin where the color stops with the bottom of the glass once I get it on there. Okay, so we're going to add our Mod Podge first, and I should not have put my water there because I'm going to be reaching back and forth to get the press here. Ooh, let's try not to burn myself with my breasts. Okay, so let's go ahead and apply our first little layer of, well, we're going to apply our Mod Podge. It's not our first layer, it's just a layer of Mod Podge. So we're not going to need this super thick. And the way that this works, I can already see I've got, this brush is shedding, and I've got a hair in there. I definitely don't want that. You're going to want the heat gun for this. Or if you don't have a heat gun, just know you're going to have to leave yourself some time to let the Mod Podge dry. Because to use the iron method, we want the Mod Podge dry. We don't want to stick it on there when it's wet. So this is what helps us get that wrinkle-free look, is when we use the heat, when it's dry, and then we use the iron to basically melt it, and then it melts into the napkin. So I'm going to hit it with the heat gun here. Oh my gosh, that brush is shedding bad. So we could go through here and do all of them at the same time, but I just want to do one and make sure that this works. Okay, so you're gonna have to use your fingers to kind of figure out where the center is, or we can drop this down further, but I'm afraid if I drop it down too further, you won't be able to see it. You just drop it down a little bit further on the mat. Because I can still see my surface saver lines through. There we go. I can still see the surface saver lines through the glass, so that'll help me get it centered. I'm still going to use my fingers to make sure. So we can basically line our words up with the surface saver lines here, and that looks good. Okay, so I'm going to put my parchment paper down. I've got the design face down, so the wording's all opposite. And then we're going to come in here with my press. I've got too much stuff in the way here. And I'm going to press this. I'm like at the length of my cord here. So we're just gonna do a nice press, keep it moving. Don't want to burn ourselves. I am gonna have to move this up because my cord is not reaching. All right, it's applying really well, so. Okay, make sure you get the edges. All right, I'm gonna take that off. And then we just wanna make sure, now this still could be hot, so don't burn yourself. I just wanna make sure that I'm attached everywhere and the glass is super hot. So we're gonna let that, this is what it looks like, or what it's going to look like, but we're gonna let that cool off because of the iron and the heat gun. There's a whole lot of hotness going on there. Okay, so now we're just gonna do the same thing with our next napkin. So I'm gonna do 2 panels with this, 2 panels with the other one. You don't have to do all the panels. You could just do one of the panels if you want. You could do no panels, and you could actually decoupage the candle. Now the candle, you might be able to, you can snap it off. Okay, actually let's rotate it. You can rotate it off. It is still gonna be attached. Oh, you can't even see. It's still gonna be attached with the wire, so you need to leave that part on. But if you wanna do the candle instead, or in addition to, you're just going to rotate it off so that you can work all the way around there. Tons of options. I'm so excited about this lantern. You have no idea. I actually have a whole nother project coming out with these lanterns. We're going to do another, only you members know this, you get the inside scoop. We're going to be doing another lantern kit, but with rub-on transfers, and it's gorgeous. It's in production right now. I can't wait to show you. It's nativity. So I think you're going to love it. All right, this one has a fingerprint, but it was on the other side. Alrighty, got that. All right, we're gonna just go through and do the same thing again. We need to just get the top ply of the napkin, and then we're going to, that one's trying to give me the bottom ply. Now, the key is, and this is me being super OCD, but to try and get it lined up the way I did the other one, so that the words are, you know, I don't want to put the words way down here. I want to try and get the words like the same-ish as I had before. I'm going to put it up here and do the, just going to see if I can pull any of these extra bristles out because it keeps shedding on me. It's a brand new brush, so I probably should have like prepped it a little more. Alright, so we're just do the same thing. Light coat. Try not to get any stray hairs or little Mod Podge boogies on it. Now, once that other one cools off, well, once they all cool off, what we'll do is we'll actually just take a sander to the edges to get the clean edges that we need. So don't worry about it being completely overlapping. I'm already so excited about how this is going to turn out. Okay? I love lanterns. We have a bunch. Okay, not a bunch. We have like, I don't know. Well, we have one on the patio too. I think we have like 5. They're really big ones though. And I guess I could decoupage the glass and the lanterns with our big 20 by 30 sheets. I might have to do that. Love, love, love the lantern. Okay, this looks pretty good. I'm gonna move it down here to the bottom again so I can see the lines. So hopefully you can still see it there. Okay, and it looks like this one, I pretty much lined it up with the bottom of the flower. Or right where the little, you can't see it. But at the bottom of the napkin, there's a flower and it has a center, a brown center. I pretty much lined up the bottom with that brown center. And then I'm just gonna make sure that I have it straight and that I've got the same amount of space on either side here. Which it looks really good to me. So I think this is it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get it started and then I'll move it up. I gotta move all this stuff. I'll give myself some more room here. Try not to roll my screws into the Mod Podge. All right, oh, there we go. Now I'm getting more length. This has like a decent length cord. I'm confused right now as to why it's not reaching where I need it to reach. So I do have, if you have the Cricut, I do have it set on the highest one. And also, if you're in need of iron, the Cricut press, this is way better than the other one I had. I actually took the other one off of my favorite things because it's my least favorite thing. If you saw one of the earlier tutorials, it was atrocious and wasn't even working. So I threw that sucker out. I didn't even donate it. I threw it in the trash. And I added this one to my Amazon favorite things. So if you're in the market, I highly recommend this one. It has been perfect every time. It has not given me any issues. It gets super hot. Okay, again, I'm just making sure all of my edges are done and attached, and we're all good there. Again, be super careful when you lift this up. It's going to be hot. If you need, like, you can always use, it does stick, not stick, but it just like, because of the heat, it kind of grippies to the surface saver. So you can just use your precision transfer tool and lift it up a little, get the lift there that you need. All right, we're gonna put that there to cool off. The first one's already cool. And then we'll just go to the next one. I really like doing these tutorials. I mean, it's weird to do them by myself with nobody on here, but I do like knowing literally like everything I used to be able to put in the sheets, because there was so many times when I was doing them before and I thought I had everything I needed in the list that you would need to get, and then you guys all got your kits with your list, and then when I would do the actual live, like, I'm grabbing other things that I didn't tell you to grab, so I feel kind of bad about that. So this has just worked way better for me to know exactly what I'm going to use. And then also when I do the live one, I can kind of give you another idea of something else that you can use. Just notice I have like a little bruise on my arm. I don't even know where that came from. I swear that's like a sign of getting older. You just get bruised and you're no idea where I came from. Probably getting out of bed, because an accident waiting to happen most of the times now. Okay, I'm gonna press this one on and then remind me to get my glue gun plugged in, because that'll take a moment to heat. This is the first time I've used this technique on glass, and loving it, absolutely loving it. It's working wonderfully. We're getting nice, clean, just beautiful images you're gonna be able to see when I pop these in. Okay, so this one we're gonna have to do on the angle. Well, not on the angle. We're gonna have to do it vertically. I don't know why vertical and horizontal are so hard for me this week. Like, I tried to do a live, well, I did a live on TikTok, and I was doing the rub-on transfer signs, the faith-filled rub-on transfer signs and sign maker kit, and I kept getting horizontal and vertical confused, like, repeatedly. Okay, someone told me to take a little bit of Mod Podge and try and separate them that way. Trying it. I don't know who told me. I don't think it did much. It did not work for me. I don't remember who that was. Okay, we're gonna try another corner. I've got the back layer off. I'm having a problem with the front layer. Usually when I tear it, I can separate it there. Well, there we go. There we go. Okay, now this napkin is kind of what I call, oh, we couldn't even see what I was doing. Basically, I'm just struggling with a napkin is what I'm doing off camera there. Okay, so this one is what we would call, what I would call a full print napkin, meaning this whole spot has dye. Where the white is, there's no dye. So on the, ooh, I almost knocked that off. On the other ones that we did, there was a lot of white. So there's not a lot of dye. When it's a full dye napkin like this, you do have to work it a little bit more gently because the whole napkin is soaked in dye. And so the whole napkin is stuck to all three, well, mainly the first layer, but you're gonna have to be way more gentle in separating these, especially since we need both of them. We don't want to go too fast and tear this design. So this one is going to be a stickier one, again, because the whole thing has color. So just go gently. I think these are the ones that usually tear on people. When people complain about the napkin tearing, it's because we've put color on the whole thing. And keep in mind, these napkins are food quality wedding napkins. So they're super high-end napkins. They're not like cheap Dollar Tree napkins. So from a use point of view, you want that stuck to the other plies because you would be using it like a wedding. So that's why sometimes it's a little difficult. Now see that end started tearing, so I'm just going to go back and not work it from that spot and come from another angle. It's getting a little sticky here. Oh, that's where I was sticking it with Mod Podge, so that's why it's a little sticky there. All right. Okay, so we want this to be the top. So you want to make sure that your verse goes from the top down. I do want to make sure, okay, I got to bring it down here and line it up. I want to make sure that I've got the whole thing on there. And again, we've got to leave some room for the top and the bottom because we've got the lips on it of the actual frame is going to come over a little bit. So we don't want it to come over and cut off our verses. And I know you can't see the bottom right here because it's down low where I can use the measurements, but just make sure you've got that 1/4 inch at the top and the bottom so that your words don't get covered up. And then the next thing we want to make sure is our space. Does the space look good on either side of it? Or is it going more to one direction? Basically what we're looking for is up here and down here to have the similar spacing that over. Actually, if I line it up, it is off a little bit. Okay, you're gonna have to do that part by eye. This looks pretty good, and then I've got to bring it down. Okay, so I've got like a fingernail worth there and a little bit more than a fingernail worth there. So I'm gonna scooch it over a little bit. Bring it down a little bit. This one's a little more tricky because we're trying to put an S pattern on a square. All right, I think there's good. Bring over our paper and we'll get it attached here, and then I'll move it up a little bit. Gosh, I'm just knocking stuff right and left. This is also why I have the surface saver, because literally I'm just dragging this paintbrush around. Okay, I got it on there a little bit. I'm gonna just, oops. Alright, I'm just gonna scooch it up a little bit more so that you can see the top's already stuck on there, so we're good there. And I don't really think you need to go over this too much because it adheres like pretty quickly. I'm just making sure that I've got all the way around the edges here. Yeah. I'm going to go over this corner real quick. Corner. That other corner too. Oh, it's still not sticking. So what I can see is I actually missed this corner with the Mod Podge. There's no Mod Podge on it. So that's why it's not sticking. So always good to check. I just have a battle wound from this project. But I don't want you to have a battle wound from this project, so be careful. Or leave the glass panels in and just do the candle. Always an option. Okay, just struggling to get this one separated again. Alright, I almost got the last one there. Like, don't give me a problem, you're the last one. This one is being, you know, a little bit fussy, but I think it will be worth it in the end because it's going to be gorgeous. And I can't wait to see the light coming through it. It is night now, so I'll be able, I'm pretty sure we have AAA batteries. So I will be able to put a light in it and take a picture of that for you. I won't be able to show you on the live, but I'll take a picture of it. Or maybe I'll just run in and get it. Maybe I'll run in and get the batteries and I'll just edit. I'll edit it for you there. If I have AAA batteries, I will. Oh shoot, you know what? I don't have any because I actually remember something died the other day and we had to steal the batteries out of the remote to make it work. So I'm gonna have to get some AAA batteries. Okay, this one I'm gonna make sure I get the corners this time because I don't want that same problem. I'm gonna put my thing in. Oh shoot, before we dry this, I'm gonna get my glue gun plugged in. Get this warming up for us here. So that we have, there we go, some nice hot glue. Once we're ready for that. Alright, so I'm gonna leave. I almost went to turn off my iron, but I need that. So we're gonna finish this last one and then we'll go with the sander. Go So I have the finger sander I'm going to use to do the edging. So we'll do that here as soon as we get this last one pressed. Okay, I'm just going to bring it down so I can get it as straight as I can. This looks pretty straight. I think that's it right there. All right, I'm going to put it down on here. All right, I've got it attached. I'm going to just scooch it up so you can see. Right, make sure I get the edges and the corners. Do a little peeky. All right, we look good there. All right, that one's hot. I'm gonna put that one there. Okay. So I'm going to just move this stuff out of the way. You don't have to throw this away. We can reuse this in multiple times. So just put it, you don't have to throw it away. Just put it in your little crafting area there. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my press because we're done with that. And I'm going to get my Mod Podge out of the way because we're done with that. Got my paintbrush in the water, so we're good there. All right, so we are going to take through, so you can see this is what it looks like on the side we're going to see. This is the back side, nice, clear, no wrinkles, really looks really good. I've got a little bit of Mod Podge on the outside of this glass. We can just clean that up with water. So it must have just been on my mat, but we're going to go through, and this is a horrible sound, but we're going to use the sander and work it backwards. So again, watch out for these corners of this glass. It already got me. This has just turned out so beautiful already. I absolutely love it. Okay, so there we go. First panel. Doesn't it look like it was like painted on there? Like so pretty. Okay, so I will probably clean it before I put it in there. We'll just put that up there, and then I'm just gonna keep working. And I'm gonna move these two away from my elbow because that's what caused the problem in the first place. I just nicked it over here. We've got another one there. Again, this has Mod Podge and stuff on it. We'll take some water to that when we're done. I think it's because I had Mod Podge on the mat, and when I heated the glass, it pulled it up onto the glass. So it probably would be a good idea to. Now I am noticing as I'm doing this, little slivers of glass are falling on my mat. So as soon as we're done here, I am going to take my, what do you call it? My sweeper and go over this really quick because I don't want any of these to be, I don't want any glass shards in my finger. I've already had enough glass accidents tonight. I don't want any more. I can just see it as like little glitter, so I'm just gonna sweep that up as soon as I'm done here. So very simple. Just takes a couple of minutes to get all this worked out. Almost there. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna. All right. I've got my 4 gorgeous panels. I'm gonna go ahead and put that away. I'm gonna get my little broom and I'm gonna try and get some of these little glass pieces. They're just like, it looks like glitter. They're so small, but I can imagine if I could get those in my finger or in my elbow, they're never coming out. Honestly, it could be glitter. I don't know. I did not take a wet rag to this after we did the glitter project the other day. I do think it was just a little bit of glass coming out there. So better safe than sorry. All right, I'm gonna get this wet in here. And I'm just gonna go over it really quick, just if there's just any of that little powder. All right, better safe than sorry. And I do want to make sure this is dry before I stick my, you know what we're gonna do? I'm actually going to bring out the parchment paper again. And I'm gonna lay them face down here, or lay them face up. So I have the glass part up, not the part that we did the Mod Podge on. I have the other, the shiny side up. And what I'm gonna do now is I have this a little bit of wet, and I'm just gonna go through and get off any of the Mod Podge that came up from my mat on it. Because there shouldn't be anything on this side, because that's the side that's gonna face out to your, on the outside of your lamp. So again, this is me learning for the live. You know what I'm actually going to use? Because this is leadlet. Where are my... I usually set them right here. What happened to them? Okay, just kidding. I usually have wet wipes like right here, and they are hiding from me right now. So we will keep doing this. All right, again, just looking at the light, just seeing if there's any thing from the mat that came up on it. Which you're not gonna see it a lot. Like, it's kind of hard to see. You really have to look in the glass, but yeah, that first one didn't really have anything. It was the next three. So it was probably where I overlaid on the edges. When I was doing the Mod Podge, I was going over the edge of the glass onto the mat, and then I just put another one on there and worked in the same spot. So I think that's what did it. Because it's all around, it's at the bottoms. All right, I'm being super nitpicky, but they're gorgeous. You can tell from the video. And I almost just threw my rag away. You know what? We're throwing the rag away. We're getting a new rag. Okay, so let's start putting our candle back together, or our lantern back together. So we're going to go ahead and slide these panels in. So you're going to want to slide them in upside down. And your Mod Podge is going to be on the part that you Mod Podge. I'm doing it where you can't see. The part where your Mod Podge is going to be on the inside. The outside will be just the glass part. And then I'm going to do them opposite. So these two panels have this verse, and the other two panels are going to have the other verse. Gosh, so pretty already. So I'm gonna have to hold it like this until I get it back together. So I can't show you. Oh my god, I've like moved stuff all over the place. I can't find the lantern top. Where's the top to my lantern? Oh, now I'm looking at it. It has the candle on it. I was looking for this part. The actual top, not the bottom. I was like, where did it go? Okay, so you want to wriggle it around in there until you've got your glass panes are caught in there. All right, and then we're gonna put the screws back in. And this is where I had a little trouble last time, because this one screw I put in completely crooked. So we're gonna get our screwdriver and just twist these back in. I think I was going too fast when I was doing it before. I was taking it all apart so I could show Megan how you can do the candle, or you can do the actual lantern glass. Alright, so I'm gonna do opposite corners first, kind of like you're making the bed. Just do the opposite corners to pull that in tight. need skinnier fingers. There we go. I definitely need one of those magnetic screwdrivers. Ah! Okay, we've got them all in here. This is going to be where you're going to put the battery. You will need a screwdriver for the battery too. So let me just open this up so that you can see. You're going to put your 3 AAAs in there. And then it has the on and off switch. I'm just going to close that up for right now so I don't lose that little screw. Because we're already having a doozy tonight. Okay, so here's the different panels of our lamp. Okay, now we can move this out of the way and we can work on the actioning on the top. So we may need some wire cutters. Get this out of the way. For the stem. So you also probably want to figure out when you put your panels in there, which way you want it. Do you want this to be the front? And have the bow like here, or do you want the little handle to the side? Because that's going to determine where you put your flower peg on it. The other thing that I'm noticing just as I look at this, so this is a pretty long S, so you can see that the bottom of the design is under the lip and the top has a little bit more room. So if you use this particular design, you may want to, I'm trying to get it so that you can see it in the light, you may want to push the design a little bit up higher. It's still going to cut off a little bit of it, but it just depends on how picky you are and if you're going to use that verse. Like this side actually didn't turn out too bad. So since I've got the handle this way, I'm probably going to flip these panels after this video because I really wanted this one to be the front. So things to think of before, but I'm going to go ahead and just do my my pick on here, and then I'll go back and take the bottom off. So the idea of this is for it to, and we're going to gently bend it, for it to come down and I think because this has holes, I'm going to use these holes to anchor my pick in here. And then I'm going to use the bow to camouflage it. So basically what we're going to need to do is figure out, this one actually has, if you look, like mine has everything. Oh my gosh, so sorry. I keep moving this over. I swear my camera's in a different spot today. These are all flat and all of the foliage is going that way. So it's telling me it wants that to be the bottom. We're going to work with it. But the only thing is I need the stem to bend a little bit this way. Okay, so I'm going to utilize the holes in the lantern, like I said, to anchor this in here. And then we're going to glue it down, but I want to just get everything how I want it. And then I will place it. I absolutely love that this has holes because look how well it just like sits in there. Oh my gosh, I'm already loving this. Okay. And it's going to cover up a little bit of the top, which is kind of fine because, and again, you could glue this over if you didn't, if you want to make sure that they see all of the design. I'm probably going to flip these panels, so I don't care, but it's laying really well. I like how it's kind of covering over it a little bit. So a couple things here. we can bend this around, which is probably what I'm going to do because it's not going anywhere. So I don't even have to tack this down with glue. I'm just gonna leave it like that, and I've just bent it around the top like it's not going anywhere. That way, if you want to take the pick out and use it for something else, you totally could, but I'm just leaving it just like that. And then let's see what we can do for the bow here. Now, I think I'm gonna do a kind of a big jute blob. So I'm calling it officially a blob. I do need something in here. I tell you, I always forget. Now, since my bow is gonna be bigger, I need this jute to be a little bit bigger. And again, I might have to add some more jute to kind of get what I'm looking for here. I'm just trying to add some texture. This may be enough, it may not. We'll just see how it works. Because I'm also gonna have the bow too, and I'm just not sure how big this bow is gonna be. So we can always add another one of these. Again, I'm just looking to add some texture under that bow. So we'll see where this ends up sitting. For right now, I'm just gonna set it right there. And then I'm gonna see how big of a bow I can get. Now, this ribbon has two sides, so you're gonna wanna make sure that let me move this back because you can't see. You're gonna wanna make sure that the pretty side is the side that's gonna be up, that we're gonna be doing everything with. I'm gonna cut some more jute for my center of my bow. And I may even want to save some of this bow for one of the ends to wrap around the middle. Okay, so I'm trying to adjust the tail to see how big of a tail I want. Okay, so for this one, we are gonna flip it when we go in because we don't want any of the ugly part of the bow showing. We want all pretty parts of the bow. Okay, and then that's my other tail. I'm gonna tie this really quick and then I'm gonna mess with it because I'm not exactly sure it did what I wanted. Feel like it needs one more loop. All right, I'm gonna shorten the tail. We're gonna do it again. I need more loops. All right, shortening the tail. And I'm gonna make a little bit smaller loops this time. I don't think it needs to be as big as I thought it did. So again, pushing it in, then flipping it so I get the pretty side up. And I'm going about 1.5 inches on each side. Again, I'm gonna make this next one a little bit smaller. It is nice that this ribbon has lines, so you can use those lines. And then this is going to be my last loop that I'm going to use for the middle. And I didn't put the thing in there to tie it at the very bottom. So we're going to carefully lift this up. Every time, I swear. And I'm going to shove it back down in there, hopefully, in a perfect world. No, I'm not. I'm going to start over because that's what happens when you don't put the bottom of the bow maker in the bow maker. All right. Starting over. That was your reminder. Put the bottom in. I had it in the first time, then I took it out. Details. The problem is the flipping. It doesn't like me. I couldn't shove it back in there with all the flipping. Well, see, this is just working out better because I got my other tail on the right side. So it worked out good. That didn't work out. All right. Flip it over. I'm going to tie the extra on the back here. Tie it again. Okay, and now we're going to zhuzh it up. All right, we're gonna have to mess with it a little bit more once we get it on there, but I'm going for like right there. So let me get my tails cut. I also have this extra jute that's just kind of going everywhere. A little long, we're gonna cut that guy. All right, I'm gonna do my tails. I'm getting better scissors so that I get nice good cuts. My other scissors are okay for paper, but they're not the best for ribbon. There we go. Watch out for the little metal things. Don't want those to get ya. Okay, so now we can figure out now I think I am gonna glue the jute to the back of my bow so that it's all together and I'm not having to make it together on the actual lantern. Because I do want it to be part of the bow, but I just didn't want to make it with when I made the bow. Okay, so basically what we're trying to do here is we're just trying to cover up the little, this situation we have right here. So what's nice about the pick is it has this nice little flat area we're going to be able to attach the bow to. And I'm just going to take and tuck this tail up. This is a stiff pick, but we'll get it. There we go. I'm just tucking the tail under there a little bit. Actually, I'm just going to bend it a little bit because when I tuck it, it wants to push that flower up and I don't want to push it up. All right, I'm actually going to wrap it around. Okay, so there you go. That way it's pushing it back down, which is what I want because I want it like flush on the lantern. But then I am going to use this flat part right here to glue the actual bow to. So we're just going to go ahead and put the glue right there on the pick. Be a little bit generous there, and we're going to stick that right on there. And we're just going to hold it and make sure it sticks really well. And then we'll zhuzh the bow again. That is an official term. Zhuzh. Okay, we've got that on there, so now we can make the bow how we want. We can make the ribbons going the direction that we want. Basically, with the bow, I'm just trying to make it a little more fluffier and not so flat on there. Oh my gosh, okay, so pretty. So if you wanted to, you could cut these tails if you didn't like the tails so long, but I'll show you. So this would be the front of the lamp. This part is not going to lift up because we have the bow attached to it, like, so it won't lift up so you can hold it. But this is the final So again, I think I'm gonna flip the panels because I want to have, I like this first better as the front panel. So I'm gonna take mine apart and flip it before I take the picture. But this is what the front is gonna look like. We'll get, I'll get some batteries tomorrow and put them in there so that what you can see what it will look like in the dark, which is the best part. But walking in his light lantern August project. Make sure that when you get done with yours, you put it in your, if you're putting it on social media, make sure you use the hashtag Christian Craft Paper. That lets me know that you shared it. Love to see it in any of the groups, or email me a picture if you're not on social media, because I can't wait to see what you do, how you use yours. We still also have like this little leaf. So I think I'm going to use the leaf when I do the live. Ooh, I'm going to throw the leaf. When I do the live video, I might use it, but you could put it anywhere on here. If I use it, I'm gonna, of course, use the Dixie Belle brown wax and wax it, but you could put that like on the front somewhere if you wanted. I'm gonna leave it off for now, but I might use it when I do the live tutorial in the group. So there you go. I can't wait to see what yours looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and flip these panels and then take some pictures, but until next time, happy crafting!